Hello, this is Papa G, and happy Halloween. Blessed Samhain. Today is October 31st, 2023. And I thought I would come on and do a little live show about different rituals during Halloween, maybe some little known facts. So I do want to start by pulling a card for everyone. I pulled out one of my favorite decks, and it is the Mythic Tarot. And what I did was I went and found, I have several copies of this, and it's from the 1985 edition, or 86, 87, somewhere in the 80s. The black back one is so I actually cracked open a new one from that. So what messages do we have? Four of Wands. Isn't this artwork pretty? So what does Four of Wands tell you? It's like here we're having a little bit of a come to Jesus meeting, maybe a bit of a dispute. It's about talking things out creatively and speaking to everyone, getting everyone together to figure out a solution to something. So maybe your solution today is, what costume am I going to wear? We are also broadcasting. Normally, this would be on my YouTube channel. We're broadcasting it live from to Facebook on Aroma G's, on my Facebook, on Twitter. So I thought it would be a special way to actually send it out everywhere. So first of all, I made a small video about this. Let's talk about, how do you pronounce SAMHAIN? It just drives me up a wall when people say Samhain. So we have a little joke, say Happy Samhain. It is actually pronounced Samhain, or if you go by the old Gaelic pronunciation, it's Samhain. So you actually pronounce that word as Samhain. But I want to talk about some little known stuff that people don't talk about all the time, like how is Halloween celebrated in Ireland? Well, it's kind of where Halloween originated. And it's still celebrated much as it is in the United States, where in rural areas there are bonfires are lit, and same as it was back in the days of the Celts. All over the country, children, they dress up in costumes and spend even the trick or treating. And most people attend parties. We're talking about adults, for neighbors and friends. And many of the games they play include something called Snap Apple. And most of us think of bobbing for apples. But what this is you actually put an apple on a string, and it's tied to a door frame or a tree. So it's hanging and dangling there. And people actually try to bite into this hanging apple, which is almost impossible to do as it swings, gravity and stuff like that. And of course the kids go and do bobbing for apples. Also, a traditional food eaten at Halloween in Ireland is barnbrack, and it's a kind of a fruit cake, where it's like a muslin treat, wrapped treat is baked inside the cake that's supposed to be able to tell the eater's future. Like if a ring is found, it meant the person will soon be wed. A piece of straw means it's going to be a prosperous year. And then, of course, let me show you something. I have something similar. Let me reach it on the wall right here. So little treats in your barnbrack would be like this. This is vintage, and it is a fortune teller cake bake set. And you would put these little items baked into the cake, hopefully so no one would choke to death on them. But let's see what some of them mean. There's a little chair. Don't envy others who are good looking. You'll be more popular with your cooking. They got rhymes and jokes. There's a boat. This boat will start things humming. A happy engagement is soon forthcoming. So there's the little boat. We'll do one more. There is a bird cage. Listen to this bird whenever sad. It will make you happy and glad. So yeah, this is a fortune teller cake set. Let me put it up close so you can actually see it. See, look, it was back then. It was 59 cents. Does it have a date on here? Yes, 1957. And that is similar to what the Irish do in the barnbrack cake, which is eaten at Halloween. So I thought that was actually pretty interesting. Another thing is all about, what's the deal behind trick-or-treating? What actually goes on there? Because by the 9th century, Christianity had spread into the Celtic lands where it was blended in with older pagan rites. Many pagans today are still upset about the fact that the two blended. Many say it stole their holidays. You can still celebrate it any way you want to. Bring back the old things, celebrate it the new way, or blend the two together. But in about 1000 AD, the church designated November 2nd as All Souls Day. And it was a time to honor the dead, which was around when Samhain is, because supposedly that's when the veil is the thinnest, when the souls can actually return to earth and visit you. And just like Samhain, they would have bonfires and masquerades, but also poor people would visit the houses of wealthier families and receive pastries called soul cakes. And they did these in exchange for a promise to pray for the souls of the homeowner's dead relatives. So it was known as souling. So later on, the practice was taken up by children, and that's when you begin to get things passing out for candy. Now, let me see if I can find it. I actually found a recipe for soul cakes, and let's see what's in it. Traditional soul cakes. Small baked cakes similar to scones, mixed with warming spices and decorated with a cross made of dried fruit or cut into the cake. So they would actually, the poor would go in door to door, receive the soul cakes, and then pray for the dead of the people who made the cakes. So in Scotland and Ireland, young people took part in a tradition called guising, where they would dress up in costumes and accept offerings from different households. So here it's still trick-or-treating, sounds like trick-or-treating, but rather than pledging to pray for the dead, they would sing a song, or they would recite a poem or tell a joke, do some sort of trick to in exchange for whatever the treats were, which were usually things like fruit or nut or small coins or things like that. As I was doing research, I was wondering where jack-o'-lanterns came from. A lot of times in Ireland, they didn't have pumpkins. What they would do was carve them, the faces mainly into turnips. And a lot of times they used beets, sometimes potatoes, but it was mainly turnips. And it was when the settlers came to America where pumpkins were excuse me, plentiful, that they began using pumpkins. But people have been making jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween for centuries. I mean, the one version of the practice came from this Irish legend called Stingy Jack. I've got a drink from this cup today. So, who was Stingy Jack? Well, according to legend, he was just a man who was actually, stingy. How'd you get that name, Jack? And he invited the devil to have a drink with him. And of course, he was stingy and he didn't want to pay for the drink. So he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin so Jack could then pay for the drinks. And of course, then he didn't let the devil turn back. He kept the coin in his pocket. And then one day he decided he would let the devil free, with the promise that he wouldn't do anything to him for 1 year. He would leave him alone, He would not take any retribution. So eventually he freed the devil. Well, next year after he had set him free, he tricked the devil again into climbing into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. So while the devil was up in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark so that the devil could not come down until he promised that he would leave Jack alone for another 10 years. But after Jack died, it is said that when he went to heaven, heaven didn't want him. He was too much of a troubled soul, too tricky to deal with. And of course, hell didn't want him because he had already made the deal with the devil. So instead, he was transformed and became this ghostly figure, Jack of the Lantern. He would walk around carrying a lantern with him. And then later on, it just became Jack-o'-lantern. So that was an interesting story. Does anyone else have anything that's Alana Samhain? It is, which is closer to the Gaelic version, which is Samhain. Yes, so it's either, but it's definitely not Samhain. Hello, Carla. Bond girl, Alina, Emily. Hello there. You know, it's, of course, just in the past couple of days here in Nashville, it's gotten cold. And it reminded me of a time back in childhood when, especially in the 70s, where, it would turn cold. We used to live a little bit further north. And that's when your mother would want you to wear a coat over your costume to go trick or treating. It's like, really, moms, do you not know how costumes work? M lady, I like your outfit. G, you like my new hat. This shirt I wore it at the Folk Magic Festival. I thought it was pretty cool. So I didn't wear it again until today, and the hat matched, of course. So, well, I just wanted to come on here for a few minutes, just talk about Halloween for a little bit with you guys. But we're going to be back in about, let's see, it's 10:15. We're going to be back here at 11:30. Thank you, Carla. Over on Aroma G's, there we're doing today, because it's Halloween also, we're going to do YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, to Facebook groups, and do free readings. So, so meet us back here in an hour and 15 minutes, and we will do all those free readings today. So, hope you learned a little bit of something. I did, researching this. What can I learn for next year's Halloween? I don't know. So, I've got to go and eat a piece of candy, clear my throat. It's probably the only piece I get today, doctor's orders. So, see you guys in just a little while with the free readings. And I think I'm still doing free readings myself tonight. Look for something. I don't know if I'm going to do it 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. We'll see. So watch my Facebook page, my Twitter, my Instagram, and I'll put something out and tell you if I'm going to do that tonight. So until later, I'll see you around. Have a happy Halloween and try not to get into trouble.